Alright everyone, how are we doing? Welcome to Monday's video, the start of a brand new week, and it's a big week because it's the week when the competitive season gets underway, and after a hell of a long close season, I can't wait for it on Sunday against Kilmarnock. I'm fueled even more by the fact that Celtic appear to be flying right now, if you can be flying in pre-season, I guess. Yeah, 12 goals across our 3 matches in the United States against DC United, Manchester City and Chelsea. 4 conceded. It is without doubt the most I've ever enjoyed watching Celtic during pre-season. It's usually a bit of a slog. It hasn't been a slog at all this time. I think I've enjoyed all of the games apart from the one I was actually at Somerset Park. Of course, we've not achieved anything yet. All of the results so far don't matter at all, really. But in terms of confidence, I think they've been very important. And the team seem motivated and hungry as we go ahead to Kilmarnock on Sunday. We'll have plenty of time to build ahead to that one. And I will be talking about Celtic later in this video. However, as you may have gathered from the title of this video, it's a pretty big day today at Celtic A.M. And I'm going to take a little bit of time just to chat to you about the channel's current position, the future of the channel, and what I'm offering today to all you wonderful people who have supported the channel so far. Okay, so I launched Celtic A.M. kind of early to mid-February. It was just after we got that late dramatic victory at Hibernian. And I wasn't really sure, how the channel would go. Obviously, I had previous experience, 67 Hail. Moved away from there when I moved to Australia. Kind of wanted to get away from the Celtic game. Was dragged back in and came up with this idea basically to make the most of the time difference between Melbourne and Glasgow or Scotland, and to have videos out at 7 a.m. or just after, as they tend to be, for all of you waking up and going to work, etc. Certainly all of you who are in that side of the world. As I say, I wasn't really sure how it was going to go. The 6 months have been incredible. Thanks to all of you supporting the channel, subscribing, watching the videos, commenting. It's been better than I could have imagined. We have over 8,000 subscribers at this stage. It's only going up. And basically I feel like there's so much more potential in this channel, and I really want to keep it growing, and I want to try and make it the best place for Celtic fans to come to on YouTube for analysis, opinions, discussion, etc. Now that's going to be very difficult given that there's so many amazing kind of Celtic channels and podcasts, but especially on YouTube. Ryan 118's done incredible work over the years, and Celtic Fans TV likewise, A Celtic State of Mind, The Celtic Way when I'm not on the videos, of course, 20-Minute Tims. All of these channels and so many more have people who put in such hard work and create such a great product, and I want to grow this channel to hopefully get it to the same level as some of those ones that I just mentioned. I think this channel can grow and be better, and we can have different kinds of videos, more variation in videos, different guests on, and more interviews as well. I really enjoyed speaking to Eric Sviachenko last week, and I know a lot of you did as well. I want to do more stuff like that, and I want to offer you all a chance to get more from the channel as well. So basically cutting to the chase, what I'm launching today is a Celtic A.M. membership here on YouTube, where you will have the opportunity to pay an amount, £4.99 per month, to get a series of benefits or perks, as YouTube calls it, that I think will be pretty attractive to you. Just briefly, and I want to make this point really clear, for those of you who don't want to become a Celtic A.M. member at this stage, there's absolutely no problem. You won't be losing anything at all. I'm not taking anything away. Now, up until this point, over the last 6 months. I've been doing videos around 7 a.m. Monday to Friday. That's not going to change at all. So if you're not interested in this, you can still settle down on a Wednesday morning and get your daily fix of Celtic chat and horrible patter from me. This is just an opportunity for some of you to support the channel and receive extra content and other benefits as a result. So just quickly on to the benefits, or the perks as YouTube calls them. The first one is an extra video on the channel every week on either a Saturday or a Sunday, and this video will be available only to you as a member. It will differ. Some weeks it will be me just in the camera. I'd like to think the majority of them might be interviews and kind of various different fun things we can do. For example, this Saturday's one, which will be the first one we do, will be a general preview ahead of the season. So that's not necessarily something we may have been able to do in the channel otherwise. So we'll have like a preview for the Kilmarnock game itself going out on Friday to all of you. But for those of you who want to be a member, you'll get an actual season preview as the first video on Saturday. Now, I was doing some maths earlier, and an extra video per week over the course of the year, that's 52 extra videos. That's a hell of a lot of extra me. I think on this channel, full stop, so far we've done like 104. So a hell of a lot of extra stuff of me and hopefully other people as well. Perk number 2 is early access to some videos. So for example, if I record an interview well in advance and say it's going out on the channel on Friday morning, as a member you may get early access to that on a Tuesday. You won't have to wait for it. Perk 3 is a members only live streams, pretty self-explanatory. I'm thinking these will be monthly, so once a month I'll get together with guests and all of you members, all of you who choose to be members, and we'll do a live stream. We can talk about Celtic, the channel, anything really, and we'll have a bit of fun doing that. And perk number 4, which I think may be the most popular, and it's the number one request I get from people, is to make these videos available as a podcast. Now take this last week from user DB9YC6DP2I. Good morning guys, can I ask, do you do an audio podcast of each video so I can listen on the go? Now with the videos coming out first thing in the morning, it kind of makes a lot of sense for there to be an audio only option for you. If you're commuting to work, it's probably easier from my own experience to listen rather than watch. Or if you're like out a run, for example, you want to be able to listen rather than watch. And I've had requests to do this. I didn't want to just put all the audio stuff on like another podcast app and then have you all leave YouTube when I'm trying to build an audience and go somewhere else. But I have found a way to make this work now as part of the membership that I'm launching. So in addition to the exclusive members only videos, the members only live streams, early access to some videos, and fun emojis as well that I'll be sorting, you'll also get a link to listen to the daily videos as an audio only podcast when you're out and about. You'll get that if you become a member. So that's what you get for £4.99 per month. That's the price of a pint in many Glasgow establishments, Stevie informs me. Usually for these things, creators go for like a cup of coffee, but don't worry, I know my audience, I know my viewers. I'm going down the route of a pint. And yeah, that's the story. I really think what the channel is going to offer will be great both for members and non-members. If you're not sure about becoming a member at this stage, my advice, and I would say this to be fair, give it a go for a month. It's $4.99. I promise if you become a member, the perks that I've just outlined will be more than worth your money, let's just say. And it also allows me to try and grow the channel and take it to the next level. I'm basically kind of just asking for a little bit of help here, just to take the channel to the next level, but I'm offering you some extra stuff as well. As I say, the plan, if this goes well, is to try some new things on the channel, maybe get some new faces on, and keep building it to become the place to be for Celtic fans on YouTube. So that's my vision. If you're wanting to become a member, this is what you need to do. You need to click the join button next to where you would normally subscribe. That'll work fine if you're on a desktop computer or a laptop. If you're on the YouTube app on an iPhone, it's slightly more complicated. Some sort of disagreement between YouTube and Apple, I believe. I'd suggest going into the description of this video, clicking on the bit where it talks about joining the channel, take it from there. It'll probably take you away from the YouTube app to Safari or Chrome. Once you're a member, you'll be able to see members-only posts, including details on how to get the podcast stuff sorted. As I say, the first members-only video will be out on Saturday ahead of Kilmarnock. If there's any issues, please feel free to comment under the video and I'll try and help you out. You can also email celticinthemorning@gmail.com, DM me on Twitter, whatever is easiest if you're having any issues. There shouldn't be issues, but you know. And yeah, just thanks everyone for letting me rant on for dear, like 15 minutes. I was going to try and do this in 5 minutes. It's not been possible. It was a hell of a lot of information to get across, but obviously it means a hell of a lot to me. And hopefully we can move on and talk about Celtic now. So yeah, that's that for now. It's pretty enjoyable talking about Celtic right now. We had another really good pre-season showing at the weekend. We demolished Chelsea in Indiana 4-1 on Saturday night. And I thought it was a game that was going to pose us more of a challenge. I spoke about that last week. The fact that I kind of looked at the Chelsea squad and there was some names that I recognised. Maybe not all of them started the match, but there was still a number of recognisable players in that Chelsea starting lineup. And we pretty much took them to the cleaners, didn't we, over the course of that match. I just thought it was another really accomplished, encouraging, exciting performance that just built on what we'd achieved against Manchester City. Again, there was so many positives. Matt O'Reilly just being fabulous is a pretty obvious one at this stage. I thought Rio Hatate had some really good moments, in particular a turn that he had near his own box in the first half completely did whoever the Chelsea player was. Our wingers looked really lively and keen to get in behind. So obviously Maida on one side, Forrest on the other. And Kyogo likewise. Kyogo scored yet again. Lost count of how many he scored in pre-season already. His goal actually was my favourite goal of the four, and probably because of how simple we made it look. I mean, if you just look at this screenshot, for those of you who have video in front of you, Ralston has the ball at the top of the screen, and you can already see how we're going to score that goal, but it just plays out exactly like that. O'Reilly is darting in behind, and he's the one who gets it and lays it on a plate for a tap-in for Kyogo. But you can also see Hatate on his bike, so to speak. And by the time O'Reilly crosses the ball, Hatate is right next to him. So those two are so clearly getting in behind, and it's so clearly to me that this has been drilled into the players to be aggressive and to break the lines and to really stretch teams. And that's something we didn't see enough of last season. That's the kind of football we saw, or we've seen over these pre-season games so far, is the kind of stuff we saw under Ange Postecoglou. And I know there's always a tendency to go, I don't talk about him, but the football was brilliant under Ange. It wasn't great for the majority of last season, up until maybe the last 6 weeks. Already this season, though, like, we look like we have just, I don't know, like, turned a huge corner and are playing even better stuff since the end of last season. I mean, the intent from the team on and off the ball is there for all to see. And the stuff at the weekend almost reminded me of like the 9-0 win we had at Tannadice. That was the kind of goal that we would have seen in that game. And you look at that, and I know teams in Scotland might not be quite as expansive as Chelsea, but all 11 of Chelsea's players are on screen there, and we still played through them. And watching how easy we made it look against some decent players, Fofana, Colwill, Reece James, these are hyped players down south. You can't help but feel that like a big result is coming against a Scottish team over the first 5 or 6 matches of the season. I know what one I'd really like it to be. You can probably guess. I just think we're going to dish out a few really big wins, even though teams aren't going to be as expansive as like Chelsea and Manchester City have been against us. Anyway, Matt O'Reilly, what a player. He's going to leave us, isn't he? He's going to leave us this summer after playing probably his best stuff. He seems like he's gone up even a level in pre-season from how good he was last year. What I would do for us to just keep him for another season, one more season, is all I ask. Is that too much to ask for? My message here is, yeah, it's pre-season, and as I said at the start, nothing that we've achieved so far actually matters. The results don't matter at all. It's all about Kilmarnock on Sunday and moving forward from that game. But the team are really confident, and I think they're going into the season with real confidence, both for the domestic stuff, but also I think when the Champions League stuff comes round, these games might be on their minds. We obliterated Chelsea 4-1. 4-1 against Chelsea, even in pre-season, is a really good result. So as much as the result doesn't matter, I think there's so much positivity and confidence to be taken by the team for the games coming up. And Brendan Rodgers seems to know what he's doing. And maybe if the board just backed him a little bit, I don't know if they fancy doing that. Back him, get the players in. And we could be on the verge of a really, really good Celtic team here. I think that's the feeling I've got right now. This could be a really memorable season based on how we've started and the way players are playing, if we can add to the squad properly. And obviously part of that as well is going to be keeping our better players. We've already spoken about O'Reilly. Stephen McGowan at the Daily Mail last night reporting that Leicester City are keen on signing Reo Hatate this summer. He's contracted with us until 2028. The feeling, and it's been reported a few times now, seems to be that we wouldn't sell O'Reilly and Hatate in the same window. Just as well, because people would probably be outside Celtic Park with pitchforks if that happened. Couldn't afford to lose both of them, obviously. Celtic are said to be aware of Leicester City's interest. Interestingly, you may recall the chat about a Russian team being interested in Hatate probably earlier this month. We rejected it. I don't think it even got to the stage of a fee being talked about. Turns out that was Zenit St. Petersburg. So, a pretty big team, albeit obviously no European football for them at the moment. And I just think Hatate has a lot to do at Celtic before leaving. I think 12, 18, 24 months ago, he was the guy being spoken about getting the big move, the real talent in the team who would go right to the top. That's Matt O'Reilly now. Everything we were saying about Hatate at that point has been said about Matt O'Reilly now and more. And I hope Hatate's looking at that and feeling just a little bit jealous, because maybe that'll light a fire under him to really get to that point. Because I think he's good enough to be a player that's spoken about in the same kind of breath as Matt O'Reilly. I think Hatate's a joy to watch, but he really needs to do it this season because he's kind of had a bit of a year off last year. And I want to see him reach his potential in a Celtic shirt and then move on and earn us a lot of money. I think he looks really good this season. I think Brendan Rodgers has him really engaged again. He's really pushing him to be a better player. And I think that's something that really inspires Hatate as well. So promising in that front. He's not going to Leicester City. I would certainly not hope. Seems like Gustav Lagerbielke will be leaving pretty soon. Interest from Italy and him, bit of reporting overnight about him. So I think that's a goer. Oh, here he is next to his good mates, Lewis Palma, Mikey Johnson, Odin Thiago Holm and Matt O'Reilly. Honestly, those guys need to get in shape. It's embarrassing looking at them. Just finally, the draw for the Scottish League Cup, or the Premier Sports Cup, I believe it's back to being now. Last 16 was made yesterday. It's given us a home tie against Hibernian repeat of the 2021 final there. You'll all remember that game. Glorious, what a day that was. This one is at Celtic Park. It'll be played over the weekend of the 17th to the 18th of August. So, yeah, only like 3 weeks away or so. So yeah, it's all kind of happening, and we move forward, and we're not far away from the big kickoff now on Sunday, but plenty of time in the videos to build ahead to that one. I appreciate you tuning into this video, sticking with me, waffling on a hell of a lot. Obviously, there was stuff I had to go through. Please become a member of the channel if you fancy it. No worries at all. If not, nothing's going to change for you. And I'll be back tomorrow to hopefully talk a bit more about Celtic.